Hi, Taurus Sun and Rising. Welcome to your August 2023 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So August is a little bit quieter in a lot of ways with less major transits, but still some important things are happening. Right off the bat on the first of the month, because we have a full moon at 9 degrees of Aquarius. For Taurus, this is the 10th house of career. And so full moon in the 10th house can bring something to culmination. You might be finishing a major project. This is also a possible promotion or some kind of recognition that you receive from the public based on whatever it is that you do for your career. So this can run the gamut, but there could be some heightening effects. For some people, they could be leaving their profession. This is at 9 degrees. The number 9 is the number of the light worker. It's a number of endings. So I would say especially for those who are leaving because they feel like a spiritual calling and they don't really vibe with what they're doing, those kinds of things in particular. Maybe somebody's retiring. On the 16th, the new moon is at 23 degrees of Leo. Now, both of these signs, these are Aquarius and Leo, they oppose one another. They are fixed signs like you, Taurus. So this squares off to Taurus. Now, it does depend on what degree your Taurus sun or rising is, but just as two signs, there's an attraction and friction at the same time. So Leo for Taurus individuals is the 4th house of home and family. So you might see new developments there. And this can obviously be finding a new place to live. The 4th house can be the mother, so a new relationship with her or new developments with her. On the 23rd, the sun goes into Virgo and Mercury goes retrograde at 21 degrees of Virgo. So this is all in the 5th house. That's the house for Taurus individuals of fun, love, creativity, pleasure. It's a great, I love the 5th house. This is the house that Leo rules in astrology, so it's a fire house. So this is something, because it's Virgo, this trines you. This is very friendly angle. That's why it has so many positive connotations. And so for those Virgos who are single and looking, and maybe even some who aren't single, but not even if you're looking, you could just happen to run into someone who is the love of your life. Maybe that will be. One thing I will say, because Mercury is going retrograde on the very same day, is that in the 5th house, I mean, it doesn't even matter what house it's in. If Mercury goes retrograde, we might hear from somebody from our past. And if it happens in your 5th house, it could certainly be someone who has been a love interest or who, when I say love interest, this is not the house of commitment, but if you had an affair with someone, a fling, you might hear back from them, or somebody that you've always, held a torch for. Even if the relationship broke up, you still had those feelings. The 5th house is love itself. So in that sense, I could see that happening as well. If you are a writer or any kind of, I guess it could be any artistic project, you may be going back and trying to work it or rethink it. Or this is the house of the business that you own. So you may be rethinking things as it relates to that. On the 28th, Uranus goes retrograde at 23 degrees of Taurus. So your sign, Taurus. So for the next several months, monitor your I was going to say your behavior, but everything, because you may be feeling very I don't want to say out of control, but especially if you're around that 23-degree mark, maybe 5 degrees in each direction, like 18 to 28 degrees of Taurus, where it's directly hitting you. It might be even further than that, but I have my rising sign at 26 degrees of Taurus. And it's funny because I wasn't really even paying attention to how far Uranus had advanced into Taurus, how many degrees. And it makes a lot of sense now because you start to feel very antsy. I think that's the mild way of putting it, because Uranus actually relates to the nervous system. And so the whole idea is Taurus can be like a rock. It can be very solid, but also very stolid, which actually is very similar to that. Being dependable, but at the same time being, lacking emotion. Like a rock, like kind of just there. So this may enliven you in a sense, but it could be nervous energy, and you could feel like you want to do something. That's why I say antsy. So anyway, now that Uranus is going retrograde, it may feel like that times 100. So keep that in mind and see what goes on, because that could be a period of time where some people make rash decisions because of wanting their freedom. And again, with the full moon in the 10th house, this could be directly connected to that. Whether or not it's a reaction to that, whatever happened with that, or what. But Uranus is unpredictable. Uranus retrograde is on steroids. On the 30th or the 31st, depending on where you live, we have a full moon at 7 degrees of Pisces, which is a friendly angle to Taurus. This is a sextile coming from the 11th house of hopes and wishes. Well, that could be good, because that could be something that you have been planning for or hoping for coming true, one of your dreams coming true. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So, it always has that sense of completion in that sense. But in the Taurus chart, it's in the 11th house. Now, again, this is a general forecast, so just keep that in mind. But also, the 11th house is the house of gains, which means that it's the profit that you make from the business that you own or the career that you have. So a full moon here could also indicate some sort of windfall. Well, I don't know about that. Boost to your income. Something is increasing. That's what the full moon is, an increase of fertility. So that could be good from that end of it. Maybe you get a promotion at the full moon and you're making more money, and this is when you first see it reflected in your paycheck. So, this is what is going on here. Oh, well, one last thing I wanted to say about the full moon in the 11th is that sometimes this can be a situation with friendships, And if you feel, Taurus, that you have been going in a different direction, you may be cutting ties with a friend. And it's possible that this has already happened because you've had Uranus in your sign for years now. And I feel like that could be one of the big reasons why Taurus would do this. Also, you remember too that you have Jupiter in your sign. So that also can indicate like expansion, growing beyond this kind of small little life, and that could involve new people coming into your life. So there could be something that affects your circle of friends, or maybe it's somebody specifically within those friends. You may find out something about a friend that you didn't know. Maybe it was kept from you, maybe, for whatever reason, not necessarily a nefarious purpose, but just that person didn't want others to know what was going on. Okay, Taurus, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.